Hello everyone and welcome to my presentation. My topic is about emotional and behavior disorder in a classroom. First of all, we are going to learn about what is this? What is this? What is emotional and behavior disorders? So, it refers to a disability classification used in educational settings that allow educational institutions to provide special education and related service to students who have displayed poor social and or academic progress. We can say that it is an umbrella term under with several distinct diagnoses such as anxiety disorder, manic depressive disorder, psychosis, schizophrenia, depression, panic, fear, as we can see on the screen. All of those mental disorder uh, takes place take place in the emotional and behavioral disorder. So if your student have the one of this or many of this, they are suffering emotional and behavioral disorder. But the question is, how can I identify if my student has this? How as a teacher we can identify this? So the number one is an inability to learn that cannot be explained by intellectual, sensory, or health factors. When you know that your students understand what you are saying, you know that they don't have any health issues, they are intelligent, but they aren't doing their best on assignments. Maybe they have emotional disturbances. The second one is an inability to build or maintain satisfactory interpersonal relationship with peers and teachers. I think this is very obvious despite the fact that they are shy and less social students. But when nobody wanting to participate in anything that involves people, is a sign that something is wrong. Okay, the number three, it's inappropriate types of behavior or feelings under normal circumstances. For example, when the teacher tells a joke and everyone laughs, but the students or one student gets angry, or when they are talking normally and gives then some fits of anger or sadness. That is an inappropriate type of behavior under normal circumstances. So we have to be aware of this. Okay, the number four is a general pervasive mood of unhappiness or depression. I think that is one of the most notable features. At some point, we all feel sad or angry, but when it is constant, it is something that we have to take into account because mood of unhappiness or depression, it's uh, it's something that we can see in our students if we are with them every day in a classroom. Okay, and the number five, a tendency to develop physical symptoms or fears associated with personal or school problems. Many emotional problems can cause physical symptoms in students. It can be something simple like a stomachache, as well as more serious things like diabetes. If we notice that our student develops some of these symptoms in a situation within our classroom, we have to find out why. Because some students doing those physical symptoms because their mind is working on this and it become real. So it's important to be aware. I just want to emphasize that those five characteristics were developed by the IDEA. So if we want to know how if we want to know if our student has one of emotional and behavior disorder, we have to identify one of these 5 characteristic. Okay, but do you know what are the type of behaviors? So they are 2: internalizing behavior and externalizing behavior. Okay, the internalizing behavior, as we can see, they are actions that direct problematic energy towards one's own self. For example, when the student have nightmare or insomnia, to use some drugs to fix this problem, high level of anxiety and depression, as well as social isolation and withdrawn temperament. That is internalizing behavior. On the other hand, we have externalizing behavior, trouble action directed out toward one's environment. For example, the destruction of school properties, physical violence, or behaving allowed to call our attention. So they are part of externalizing behavior. So it's important to know internalizing behavior is own self, one's own self, and externalizing behavior is directed out toward one's environment. Okay, something that I learned and it was so interesting for me that studies reveal that these students are often abandoned by other educators, teachers. So I know that working with those students can be challenging and can be hard, but so how we can teach those students? It is possible to teach them. So we can be part of the other part of the teacher who are working hard with those students to help them to be successful in a school. So I found 6 strategies to work with those students. The first one is effective and sound classroom management practice. So the clear rules. Rules need to be established at the beginning of the school year and must be written in such a way as to be simple and understandable. Engaging lesson always is a good resources to maintain active for students. Consistent consequences, differentiation. We have been learning about it in a few weeks ago. So make differentiation in our classroom is a vital part to our teaching. And I think the most important part is the relationship building. Teacher, student, teacher, students build a confidence relationship with our student can help. So it's a good important part of in this process to help a student who passing through this situation. Okay, so this is the first one. Okay, number 2, positive behavior intervention systems rewards. Positive reinforcement. If your student did something good, let them know. A positive environment. Avoid any type of bullying or negative behavior and try to make the classroom a fun and exciting place. They have to know that in a classroom they can have fun. That is an important part for a student who are passing through this situation. Conflict resolution. Conflict resolution does not mean always backing down from aggressive students, you know. There are going to be times when you have to stand your ground. Conflict resolution begins with good listening, attention to the situation, and diffuse the situation with humor and compromise the core of conflict situation resolution. Sorry. So it's an important part. I think listening is so important to know what is the problem, what is happening in a classroom. The number four is self management. So we have to allow students to regulate their own behavior. This should be the ultimate goal when working with these students. Students will be able to identify target behavior, research their behavior, establish goals, record action, and evaluate progress. So it could be a little bit hard when some students think sad or angry to do that. However, with a dedication and patience, we can achieve that the student can have a self-management. The number five, and social skills training. So our purpose is to help a student function in various social situations. They will learn to share and make direct contact with their peers and express their emotion with appropriate and participate in work groups. So social skills training is so important because as we have been knowing, those students have problems interacting and talking with peers and teachers. So it's important to practice them, to motivate them to participate in a group with examples of social skills. They will learn how to share and helping their partners to help them to be more sociable. And the last one is a wraparound service. Everything is better when we work in a group. Uh, we must involve all parents, teacher, and an administrator to help that student to be successful in the classroom through plans and goals we develop together. Team is the key. So we have parents help outside of school, administrator and teacher help in a school in school in a classroom. So we have to make a partnership and work hard to help those students. There are many things, right? But I know that with effort, dedication, and a lot of patience, we can help these young people to improve and have academic success. So, what did you learn today that you will apply when you find yourself in a case with an emotional and behavioral disorder? I hope you can uh, get something that can help you in your journey. And thank you so much. This is my presentation, and that is thank you.